my beloved President Hakainde Hichilema, and also Cyril Ramaphosa, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and the last one on my list, who is the first actually, it's Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traore. I believe Traore is the African president, in the sense that my visions and dreams, when I was following the sequence from the first president, the first president I'm referring to Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, the second I'm referring to Chiluba, the third I'm referring to Manawasa, and Lupia Banda there as the fourth, and also Michael Sata as the fifth, and also Lungu as the sixth, and the Hakainde Hichilema as the seventh. All these have been coming as God revealed in visions and dreams. But one thing that I want to say, I've been marching into State House to deliver these messages. Now, when I'm seated here, I just want to share with you to say, despite the fact that this book, you see, my book is this is a book of truth, which is called Holy Bible. But the issue of Holy Bible, debatable, saying that it has been used to enslave Africa. It doesn't make this book to be utterly thrown to trash. We must identify the books of prophets that declared the word of God. Among those people that I want to identify today is Elijah. When I'm talking about Elijah, he walked into the palace. He never drove. During King Ahab, if a person would put on a white horse or drive or ride a white horse, this is what today we are told of Lamborghini, whatever car, maybe the Beast, the car that Obama was going around with. I've not heard about Donald Trump's car, what model and what type. But I want to say that in the old times, those who were made to be identified as rich, they were driving horses as cars at that time. So now, because Elijah had a message, he had to walk into the palace of Ahab, and he noticed the way I also entered the airport trap in 2001, when I actually I stood among the ministers and the other high officials that were welcoming President Chiluba. And I remember I've been showing this book. Where is it here? I've been showing this book of the first volume. I think someone is reading it somewhere. It's not here. So that book, the first volume, I greeted Chiluba. He never knew that I was there. Even Michael Sata, when he looked from the behind, he never knew that I was there in the queue. I entered as Elijah entered. And Chiluba told Michael Sata to say I should go with him to State House so that I can deliver the message of God. But when they looked at my dressing, when they looked that I'm not having a car, when they looked that I'm walking, they could not, Sata could not take me to State House. Here is Elijah, who entered King Ahab's palace, and he told him to say 3.5 years there will be no rain. Today I'm telling Hakainde Hichilema to say UPND cannot succeed to fulfill its promises because it is under the Vatican blessings. It must be under God's blessing. When Elijah was in the cave, he was being fed by what? By birds. And when the birds were tired, they stopped bringing food. When the well of water dried up, Elijah had to go and seek food from a widow. That's how God treats us as men of God. We might have the wisdom, we might have the message, but we may not have the resources. Here is Elijah depending on a widow in a suspicious manner. I want to say, when Elijah approached the widow said that she had no food. She was only remaining with a little food. Then Elijah says, go and make for me first before you eat. I know I'm having the last meal. The widow explaining to Elijah says, make for me first. Thereafter, the widow, in fact, in our days, we can say that Elijah actually forced the widow to give him food. He did not ask. There was no permission, but he forced the widow to prepare from the last meal. But that last meal did not become the last meal. It became a sustaining meal until the 3.5 years were over. Elijah was with the widow. And in a suspicious manner, others today they would say Elijah was a Ben 10 because they would not trust him. Even today, there are people who cannot trust me. I want to tell you to say, I have the message, I have these books, and people who may want this ministry to do what? To proceed, they must come to me as widows. They must come to me as those birds that they were feeding Elijah, and the water that Elijah needed, which I need to publish these books, to spread the books into the whole entire world, so that everyone can receive the testimony of this prophecy. Africa must be united. When Africa is not united, Africa is going to economical slavery. When you are going to be in slavery completely, Zambia, South Africa, America, being America rejecting Africa, it's also a fulfillment of my writings which God revealed to me. So I want to thank God for bringing me at this particular moment, that I understand that regardless of my